started in child's pose, please, everyone. Bring your hips back onto your heels and the forehead onto the floor. And immediately begin to customize this practice. So deciding if bringing your knees closer together under your body today allows for more expansion in the low spine, or maybe today it's separating even your feet a little bit wider and really allowing the hips to begin to soften, the belly to spill forward. And the invitation for the next 60 minutes is really this. It's not just the concept, but the manifestation of making choices around your body's sensation so that your practice is wholly your own. And throughout class, I will make suggestions, I will provide encouragement, but please know from the very beginning, this practice, this hour that you set aside, the time to experience is yours. So get the very most out of it that you can. Another really important component of practicing at Yoga to the People specifically is that we do use our breath as the barometer for experience. So rather than getting accustomed to saying that pose is good or that pose is bad, we instead notice how deeply and completely our inhales and our exhales are. So that if our breath ever becomes sacrificed or stagnant or held, we know that there is something that can be changed. At Yoga to the People, we use vibrational breathing so that we can hear it. And if we can hear it, then we're more likely to feel it. Then we are no longer ignoring it. So wherever you are with your breath in this moment, if you would please exhale all the air out of the body, get empty, empty, empty. And then take in a deep and full, exaggerated inhale. Swell the back, fill the belly, hold it at the top. And exhale, HA. And with the eyes closed, begin to roll the forehead on the floor. Maybe you even sway the hips from side to side, experience some sort of juiciness, or maybe it's some stiffness in the body. Just notice. No need to fix or adjust, just observation. Exhale completely, keep the body swaying. Deep, deep, full body inhale. Exhale this time, HM. And as the body sways, begin to play around with those vibrational exhales, be it a ha, or a or maybe an SH. And notice that those vibrations ripple over the body, creating gentle openings, a gentle energetic massage that maybe fingers can never touch inside the body. If the arms aren't already there, begin to walk them long out in front of you, tent up onto all 10 fingertips. Feel a lengthening through the side bodies, maybe even a hollowing of the armpits as you put pressure into all 10 fingertips. Deep, deep, deep inhale here. Notice how the breath stretches open the backside of the body. And exhale, press the palms flat, curl the toes under, send the hips up high, heels down low, and just begin to move. So before it becomes a downward facing dog, it is first an exploration of what the body contains today, namely what sensations are living and thriving within you. So whether it's pedaling out the feet, right, by bending the knees alternately, yep, exactly, Jane, or maybe it's pumping the forearms, the shimming of the shoulders, right? It doesn't have to be isolated in the low body. You can shift the weight forward and back, exactly, Caitlin. Maybe it's something as subtle as noticing which knuckles you push into, right? Get interested and excited about exploring the body in this very playful way in this yoga practice. And then slowly we'll begin to clean it up so that it does become a specific upside down V shape. Glance forward at the palms and notice that all 10 fingers are spread super wide. So almost like you're stretching out the flesh in between every digit. And then thumb and index finger are creating some sort of L shape within the body. And then relax the head or the neck so the head is heavy. Shake it, yes, shake it, no, let tension go. And then inhale the shoulders close up to the ears, close, 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 create tension. And exhale, release it down the spine. One more time, inhale, shoulders close, close, close. And exhale, release. Let it all go. Rotate the armpits towards one another like they could say hi in front of the breastbone. And then opening the eyes, just softly gazing back towards the feet. All 10 toes face forward, and it's as though you could slide your skull in between the arches. Soft bend behind your knees. So we're not exaggerating the hamstrings, rather we're opening up the slope of the spine, tailbone, your sit bones, reaching high up towards the ceiling or sky. Close the eyes. This is your downward facing dog. And from here, we'll inhale and lift your right leg up and back. Lift it so that you do feel a bit of a stretch. So not concerned so much with what's happening in the hips, rather noticing that the weight is evenly distributed between both palms. Pressing your heart back towards that left thigh. Flex or point your toes, and then inhale, draw the leg up a little higher. Exhale, roll open the hip, bend your knee, or whatever it is. Using the first few moments of this class to really yawn and stretch open the body. And again, sometimes it's not those larger parts like the torso or the legs. Sometimes it's very subtle, like the space in the jaw. Can you keep moving your right leg in a way that creates space, even in places that you don't feel are connected? Soft brow, soft lips. Inhale, draw that right leg up, up, up. Exhale, gently step your foot all the way forward in between your palms. So even if you need to use your hand to bring your foot forward, try to get the top of your right toes in line with your fingertips. And then drop down to your back knee, untuck your back toes. And then you decide if you want to stay here and just begin to relax the torso down towards the ground, or maybe you want to interlock the fingers, prop yourself up on top of that quad, straighten the arms, and then decide if a back bend is in your practice right now, lifting your chin and chest up, drawing the arms up by interlocking the fingers, or maybe just cactusing the arms out to the side. If you find that you need support in a back bend, hands come to low spine, squeeze the elbows tight. Close the eyes and notice that whatever choices you're making, it's because that's what you need in this moment. Can you breathe deep? Can you breathe fully? Take one more exaggerated inhale. And on an exhale, release. Both hands down. Untuck the back toes. Lift the left knee. Inhale, sends that right leg up, up, up. And then exhale, gently kiss it back down towards the floor. And then opposite, inhale, inflates the left leg high. And really go for that length and that lift. So not limiting yourself by this cerebral notion of what you need on the left side. Instead, with the eyes closed, notice where that sweet spot is. And then inhale, you'll lift the leg a little higher before exhaling and following that sweet sensation. Right, so there's a line, there's an energetic line that happens in the body. And as you connect them from one side to the next, from one movement to the next, be sure that you're really getting the most out of it. And sometimes that means switching it up a little bit, yeah? Take a smooth inhale to draw the left leg up, up, up. Exhale, swoop it forward. Place the foot in between your palms and then drop down to your back knee. Untuck the back toes. And again, if you need to literally use your hand to force your foot forward, go for it. Yeah, decide what feels really good on this side. And if it's staying here, do so. Otherwise, interlock the fingers on top of that quad. Push into the top of your back foot. Ignite that right buttock's hips nice and tight. And then you decide if it's dipping the hips low, extending the arms high. Maybe it's simply dropping the head back and learning to open up the throat. opening up all that soft part of the right side body. Where is my breath? Can I use it more effectively to nourish that stretch? Take a full inhale. And on your exhale, release both hands down. Untuck the back toes, lift your back knee. Inhale, sends the left leg straight up and back, 3-leg down dog. Exhale, release it back down towards the floor. Wherever you are with your breath, please let out a sigh or a sound. Take a full exaggerated inhale. An audible exhale, let it go. Deeply bend your knees, almost like you're gonna sit your butt onto your heels, stretch your feet open, glance forward, and then take tiny steps all the way up in between your hands towards the front of the mat, all the way up. All the way up. And then separate your feet about hips width distance. That's 2 of your own fists in between the arches. On an inhale, you'll come into a halfway lift, hands onto shins or thighs. Rock the weight forward, chin slightly away from the chest. So there's 90 degrees almost between your legs and your torso. Take one more breath here, and on an exhale, release the upper body, bend behind the knees, back into that forward fold. And then you decide whether you want to interlock the fingers behind the nape of the neck, behind the back. Maybe it's something like grabbing the elbows in front or behind the legs, and then rocking from side to side or lightly bouncing. Yeah, noticing as you find this movement, what you can let go of, that beautiful balance between effort and ease. And in this moment, what can gravity assist and do for you? Okay. On your exhale, release the hands down. Pull the navel in firmly, and then inhale, rise all the way up to standing. Mountain pose, arms above the head, palms face one another, fingers spread wide. And as the fingers are spreading and you feel perhaps the air caressing around each digit, rotate the pinkies in towards one another so the shoulders are allowed to soften down the spine. No effort. You can't force softness, right? You have to allow it. Perhaps you shift the weight back and forth, side to side in the feet, looking for that sense of balance and equanimity from one side of the body to the next. And then once you find it, the belly is drawn in, not to suffocate, but to support the buoyancy of your lungs. And if you can close the eyes and visualize every inhale, the air spills down into the pit of your stomach. It swells the back of you to the front of you. And every exhale, you find solidity in the feet or rootedness in the legs. The eyes are closed. Gently gaze up in between your palms. On an inhale, draw your hips slightly forward. Stretch the arms back for a back bend. And on your exhale, hinge forward all the way down, forward fold. And we'll do that 3 more times on your own. So on an inhale, you'll stand all the way up. Yes, stamp down through your feet. Stretch the arms back, lift the heart high. And on an exhale, you'll release all the way forward. And when we say on your own, it is quite literally the full length of your inhale and the full extent of your exhale that brings you through these salutes and these back bends. And that's a great choice, Jess. Yeah, softening behind the knees at any point that you need to. Noticing that the weight of the arms and the lifting of the heart will create that back bend, a support in that back bend. So good. And then once you've completed your 3rd salute, we'll meet in a forward fold. On your inhale, find a halfway lift, maybe hands to shins, or maybe fingers spread wide on the floor. Exhale, place both hands on your mat. Set both feet back. Pause in your upper push-up plank position. So this plank position is the beginning of our flow sequence. And in this Vinyasa style practice, that flow literally tethers one side of the body to the next, one asana to the next. So we'll do this very, very frequently. There's no such thing as a perfect flow, right? We're just gonna go through the structure. Pull up on your quads, heels over toes, so we're stretching the bottoms of our feet. Imagine that you're pulling the top of your hip bones towards your lowest rib. This is a moment. So yeah, you gotta breathe. Stay with it. Chin away so your head isn't very heavy. Take a smooth inhale. Imagine you're pushing away from the mat. Exhale, lower just about halfway down. Elbows point straight back behind you. Lower push-up. Inhale, draw your heart forward. Untuck the toes so you're stretching the tops of the feet. Look up for up dog. And then exhale, curl the toes under. Send your hips high. Heels low, downward facing dog. And that is our flow. We do it very often. Allow it to evolve and change. And you can use your knees at any time you need to. Wherever you are, exhale, become empty, empty, empty. Get it out. Create more space for a deep inhale. Fill it up to its peak. And exhale, let it go. On your inhale, glide your right leg up. On your exhale, step it all the way forward between your palms. Keep your back heel lifted so all 10 toes are facing forward. And then inhale, stand up, torso up, arms up, crescent lunge. Now noticing, very similar to that first stretch, that lunge we did, we're opening up left side body. To support you in finding and managing that balance, push down through the big toe mound of your left foot, your back foot. Really pull up on the front quad, engage your glutes. So now with very little effort, you're igniting and opening up left hip flexor. Right knee is over right ankle. And then if it helps you to bend and straighten the back leg a few times, do so. Choose to make it long, strong, and straight. Maybe you even bring your hands to your hip bones and gently tug right hip back, left hip forward. Flare the fingers wide above the head. And if you can, you close your eyes. And you notice those slight, subtle movements. And then you notice how breathing can be smooth and hopefully smooth out some of those wiggles or jiggles. If you want to press the palms above your head, go for it. Take one more inhale to dip your hips low, to stretch the arms back. And then on an exhale, release both hands down. Step your right leg back, upper push-up plank. Exhale, lower halfway down, lower. Inhale, upward facing dog, sides of the ribs forward. Exhale, downward facing dog. Use your core to find that upside down V. And then we flow right into our left side. Inhale the left leg up. Exhale, gently step the foot forward in between your palms. Back heel stays lifted, right? Stretching open the sole of your foot. Inhale, use your core to stand up. Really nice, Stephanie. That was a great transition with eyes closed. If it helps you to alternately bend and straighten the back leg, use it. If it helps to square off your hips by placing your hands, your palms on the hip bones and pushing your left hip back and your right hip forward, go for it. Again, using what you can so that you get the most out of the experience. Feeling a tugging on that right hip flexor by really squeezing the buttocks hips. Send the energy long through the arms so the elbows aren't bending, the wrists aren't collapsing. Maybe you press the palms. That looks so beautiful, Elizabeth. That was amazing how you opened up your throat there. Close the eyes. Find the breath filling in and spilling out. Take one more exaggerated inhale. Dip your hips low. Stretch the arms back if you wish. And then exhale, release, hands down, left leg back. Go through that flow, high to low. On your inhale and up dog, push into your thumbs. As you revisit downward facing dog, you find familiarity in the form. And then it's one breath, one movement. Crescent lunge on right side and left side. You'll inhale the right leg up. You'll exhale it forward. And it's just one breath to rise up in this beautiful lunge before exhaling, releasing the hands down and flowing. Finding, especially in this pose, there might be a balancing component that you are working with. Remind yourself you're working with it as you inhale and flow the left leg up and as you bring it forward. So no rush. There truly is no hurry. You've already set aside the time. Get what you can from it, yeah? And then once you've completed your left side, finding downward facing dog. If you're flowing, keep flowing. Right? But then wherever you are, exhale completely. Take a deep, deep, deep inhale. Vibrational exhale. Inhale, draw the right leg up again. Stretch through your big toe. Exhale, step it forward. Back heel stays up. Inhale, back into that crescent lunge. Listen carefully. On an exhale, release. Left heel down, right arm forward, left arm back. Warrior two. So noticing by simply shifting that heel down, you feel an opening, a stretching, a twisting in that left hip flexor. And notice if you find the joy in that sensation. In warrior two, perhaps you're separating the feet a little bit wider, taking a bigger step. If you glance over the right knee, you can still see a sliver of that big toe, so the knee isn't collapsing in or swaying out. If you glance behind your shoulder, notice that the back arm is really straight and long, reaching directly behind you. Gently glance over the right arm. Sit low in the hips as you push your hips forward, as you lean the hips back, keeping the torso, that heart space, open. Take a deep inhale to stretch your wrists apart. Take up space, warrior two. And then exhale, cartwheel, both hands down. Lengthen your right leg back, strong legs as you lower and you flow. Inhale, I straighten my arms, I stretch my throat. Exhale, I use my core, I find downward facing dog. And then inhale the left leg up. Notice that sweet spot before stepping the foot forward. Back heel stays up. Inhale, find crescent lunge. Exhale, rotate right heel down, left arm forward, right arm back, warrior two. And if you can, become accustomed to closing your eyes and building the asana from the inside out. So rather than having to use the visual cues, and if you find them useful, go for it. But if you can, notice if you can find the sensation in your back foot, the outside edge of your right foot, push down there. And then as you direct your front knee directly over that ankle, that heel, you're gonna feel a gentle tugging of the hip flexors. Stretch the arms equally, one direction. Take up space, and then sit low. Hips forward, chest open. Take a full swelling inhale to sit the hips down, to stretch your arms apart before exhaling, cartwheel, both hands down. Capture the weight first before stretching your left leg back, high to low. And then as soon as you find downward facing dog, it is that one breath, one movement. Crescent lunge into warrior two. And maybe I had a Marika in class the other day. She's like, you know, try flowing from left side to right side. And that blew my mind. It was a habit I didn't realize I had had. So allow this practice to surprise you. Allow each moment in these postures to be worth your while. And sometimes that means letting go of expectations. Yeah, I can see some of you flowing with your eyes closed. That is so powerful. And with the eyes closed, can you release into warrior two on a ha? Can you flow lower and slow on a hmm? And you know, as soon as you're done exhaling, you're moving into the next moment, letting this practice flow vibrantly through you. If you are flowing, keep flowing. But if you are in downward facing dog, make it powerful, strong. You can always keep that bend behind your knees, always melting the heart closer to your thighs. Wherever you are with your breath, please exhale. Take a deep, deep, deep inhale. Exhale, let it go. Bend your knees, glance forward, and then decide to step, or maybe now you can hop in between your palms. And let the head be heavy, sides of the neck be soft. Separate your feet, hips with distance. If you need to measure, again, 2 fists, thumbs to thumbs, pinkies towards arches. On your inhale, you find a halfway lift, flat back, firm belly, long spine. And then exhale, release, dead weight. Pull the belly in, find the abdominal wall active, and then on your inhale, sit your hips down, bring the arms up, chair pose. And right away, the gaze is soft and you're glancing over the knees, so you notice the knees are pointing straight over the center of your feet, and the toes are pointing straight out in front of you. Belly drawn in like you're tilting the hips towards your lowest ribs. Soft shoulders by rotating the pinkies in towards one another, and then close the eyes and feel. There's a kind of breathing that is a suppression. There's a kind of breathing that is a management tool. And then there's the kind of breathing that is expressive. And we use it all the time when we fight, when we laugh, when we cry, when we make love. That is a form of breath that communicates your experience. So breathe fully. Breathe from the center of your experience in the moment. Wherever you are, exhale. Take a deep, deep, deep inhale. Sit the hips low, stretch the arms high. Exhale, forward fold. Yeah. And hopefully there is some vibrations. You can pedal out the feet. You can sway the torso, going from active to soft. Simply and easily, right? How much can you let go of? Yeah, and then find a stillness. Exhale to pull your belly in. On your inhale, hips down, arms out, stomach on thighs, chest on the knees, half chair. And if you've been practicing with me for a few days, like some of you have, we have been practicing this a lot. It doesn't make it easier, but it makes it more familiar. Yeah, so go for that point where you know you can hold it, and then nourish the breath. Fingers spread wide, pinkies towards the floor, thumbs towards the ceilings. Close the eyes. It doesn't matter what it looks like. Now keep the hips exactly as they are. They're not going to lift. Take a deep inhale. Lift your torso and arms up 45 degrees. Full chair pose. Boom. And you're there. And you're like, whoo! If you are practicing somewhere in public and you're breathing fully, good, awesome. If you are practicing by yourself and you are suppressing your breath, exaggerate it. Be willing to play and explore. Deep, deep, deep inhale, straighten those arms. Exhale, stand up, mountain pose. Ha. Enter it in on an exhale. Close the eyes if they're open. Notice if you can hear the rush of your heartbeat. Notice if you can feel a pounding in your heart. That all originates from you. I don't create it. You are not creating it. You're stepping into a full version of yourself. Every time you come onto your yoga mat and you give yourself over to sensation and experience. It's not an expectation. It's a moment by moment experience. Take a smooth inhale, stamp down through your heels, balls of the feet stretch up through the fingers. Exhale, simply bend your knees, sit your hips down and back. Third, final chair pose. You go to the point where you know you can breathe evenly and you explore the edge mindfully. There is something about this practice when we speak to the spirit that supports the body, that supports the mind, and that's what we're getting to. Sit the hips low, stretch the arms long, chin up, take a deep inhale. And exhale, forward fold, let it go. And then bending your knees softly, pushing the torso onto your thighs. Bring your right hand down in between your feet. Inhale, glide the left arm out to the side, up towards the sky. Gentle twist, and then slowly you'll begin to work that left leg straight. Just to the degree you can manage a nice massage. Push down through your bottom palm. Stretch up through your top arm. Deep, full belly inhale here. And then exhale, gently release left hand down. Bend your left knee. Left hand in between your right or your feet. And then inhale, glide the right arm out to the side, up towards the sky. Gently straightening the right leg to the degree that it feels good. So again, not being aggressive in this moment. We just really activated our glutes, our quads, our hamstrings. Let this be a little massage for them. One more breath. And then exhale, release. Both hands down. Glide both feet back and come through that flow. Perhaps with a bit more warmth or a bit more awareness as you do so. Arrive in down dog on a ha or a hmm. And then on your next inhale, glide your right leg up. On your exhale, step it forward in between your palms. Rotate your back heel down onto the floor now. And then inhale, root to rise, find your warrior one. And immediately closing the eyes, maybe bringing the palms to press above the head. We've warmed up our hips. So in this warrior one, over the course of a practice, so not necessarily this class, we will work getting the left hip forward and the right hip back, but notice where the body lands naturally in the pose before deciding to do anything to it. How you landed is exactly how it's meant to be. So now we nourish the asana with a full breath. Every inhale, perhaps you sit lower in your lunge. Every exhale, maybe it's something subtle like squeezing your palms closer, firmer together. Perhaps you begin to stretch your chin up towards where your palms meet. Keep your throat open and soft. Deep inhale here. Exhale, right arm forward, left arm back. Warrior two. Stay low. It's a little bit different entering from warrior one to warrior two. So adjust your stance accordingly to what you need and then close the eyes. Soften through the jaw, the face. And with the eyes closed, flip your fingertips up towards the ceiling, palms shooting out as though you're pressing two walls away from you. Shoulders down your spine. And with the hands flexed in this way, can you feel stretching from index finger, middle finger, down through base of palm? And with that, can you trace the stretch through the arms, through the heart space, and nourish that space with the breath? If the eyes are closed, flutter the gaze past your right fingers. Flip your palms skyward. Inhale, stretch the torso forward. Exhale, stretch it up and then back. Reverse warrior. So your left hand comes above or below your back knee. And instead of finding a back bend by twisting the heart open towards the sky, draw your left hip back, your right knee forward. So we're really focusing on stretching open the right side of your body, fanning open the ribs as though we would peel apart a feather. Keep drawing your knee more forward, your fingers more back and straight. Long, strong arms, Emily. Take one more deep inhale, draw your knee forward there, and then release, both hands down. Step your right leg back, come to that flow. Inhale, full breath. Exhale, complete breath. And then inhale, draw your left leg up, please. Exhale, gently step it forward. Rotate your back heel down onto the floor. Clean up that firm, solid base, and then inhale, warrior one. Arrive on an exhale, arrive with the lids of the eyes shutting tight. And then building it from that inner sensation. Over time, working right hip forward, left hip back. Belly drawn in, finding that space. And then if you're pressing the palms, feel the heat gathering when one side of the body meets the next. Take a smooth inhale, sit low. You're doing great, quads. On your exhale, left arm forward, right arm back, warrior two. Find it, clean it up, close your eyes, and let go of what it looks like. You know, these asanas are a byproduct of the moments before, during, of course, but after them. So when we find what feels right, that is exactly how the pose should be. And it changes every day. Keep the lid shut as you flip the fingers high to the ceiling or sky. Push the palms away from one another. So beautiful, Nicole. And then softly open the gaze past your left palm. Flip it skyward. Inhale, stretch the torso and arm forward. Sweep it up, 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 and then back. Right hand coming above or below the back knee. If you are choosing to wrap the arm behind your torso, really push that thigh down. So it's like you're lengthening the knee, the quad away from the hip, hip from rib, shoulder, elbow, wrist. Soft jaw, open throat. Take a full, powerful inhale to drive the knee forward to stretch the arm back before exhaling, releasing both hands down. That was so nice, Sarah. Left leg back and flow. And then it is one breath, one movement. You choose to start on your right side, maybe you start on the left. Maybe you want to keep it as warrior one to warrior two in reverse, or maybe you really liked that crescent lunge into warrior two. Right? Those subtle adjustments that can make such a big difference. No matter how you're flowing, it is exactly as it should be, so long as you're staying committed to the experience within. Too often we do, or our lives are run by obligation or the euphemism of responsibilities and expectations. When you come onto your yoga mat, the only thing you are required to do to get the experience is remain present. Showing up for yourself in a way that will empower you to show up in the rest of your life, a fuller, more complete version of who you are. And because we're always changing, what you experience on this mat is different every time. If you're flowing, keep flowing. And if you're in downward facing dog, strong and sweet. Wherever you are with your breath, please exhale completely, empty, empty, empty. Taking a deep, exaggerated inhale. An audible exhale, let it go. Bend your knees, glance forward, step, or maybe try hopping all the way in between your palms. Inhale into a halfway lift, long, long spine, firm belly. And exhale, collapse, get very, very heavy. Now bring your feet together so that your toes and heels will touch. And then inhale to sit your hips down, bring your arms up, Thunderbolt. Thunderbolt is very similar to chair in that we have those angles in the body, and it's called Thunderbolt for a reason. So don't be afraid to stick your booty back, to squeeze your thighs, and to tilt your torso slightly forward. Keep squeezing your knees, your thighs tight. Press your palms firmly. So even if you need to tilt the hands out in front of the face, keeping space around your neck, keeping length in the arms. Take a full inhale here. Exhale, hands to heart center. Now roll the shoulders up, squeeze them down your spine. Take a deep inhale. Exhale, hinge forward. Bring your right elbow to the outside of your left knee. And if you can't quite get that, use your forearm around your thigh to exaggerate or implement a twist in the torso. Wherever you are, open your heart. Open your heart. So keep pressing into the palms. Maybe you release your one hand down, one arm up for a flyaway. Perhaps you explore a bind, dropping the top arm behind you, grabbing for your inner thigh or underneath your legs for that bottom arm. Wherever you are, take a deep inhale to reach or press it open. Exhale with control back to center. It's a moment. We're going to build heat intentionally. Squeeze your legs. Inhale, lift your chest up. Exhale, hinge forward, opposite. Left elbow to the outside of the right knee. Now push your knees together while simultaneously pushing that elbow into that quad. Open up the collarbones, open up the heart. If you're going to explore a flyaway, go for it. If you're going to try for a bind, great. But just because you always do it doesn't mean you have to. And just because you've never tried it doesn't make it impossible. Find the accessibility, find your breath, right? Fuel the fire with a cooling breath. Take one more deep inhale. Exhale with control back to center. I promise it's worth it, so stay in it. Inhale, lift your chest high. Exhale, collapse forward. So good. Inhale, halfway lift. And exhale, release. Hands down, feet back, flow, high to low. Inhale, I move full lungs. Exhale, I move full expulsion, right? The more we exhale, the more room we have to create a deeper, richer inhale. So let's do that all together. Wherever you are, exaggerate the exhale, force it out, emptiest you've ever been. Deep, 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 voluptuous inhale. Find the peak and then one more sip. Exhale, HA. On your inhale, glide your right leg up, find a stretch. Exhale, shift shoulders over wrists, knee to the outside of the right elbow and get them to touch. Inhale, draw the leg up and back. Exhale, knee to the outside of the left elbow, twist, maybe you glance over the left shoulder. Inhale, draw the leg up and back. Exhale, shoulders over wrist, forehead and knee, get them to touch. Now get your heel closer to your butt. Inhale, lift it up. Exhale, sweep it forward. Find that crescent lunge. Knee over ankle. Back heel lifted. Long, tall spine. Maybe even press the palms above you for a moment. Tug your right hip back. Draw your left hip forward. Take a smooth inhale. And then on your exhale, bring your right hand to your right hip. Stretch the left arm high and lift up and over to the right. Gentle side body stretch. Keep thinking left hip forward, right hip back. Keep your right hand on that hip for stability. One more full breath here. And then exhale, bend that left elbow, bring it to the outside of your right knee. You can bring the hands to meet at heart center. You can find a flyaway, left hand down, right arm up, or maybe a bind is accessible now that you're wrapping the arm behind or underneath your thigh. Yeah, so go for it. Right, you will get there eventually, so long as you try. If you don't try, you've already given up, you've already surrendered. Use the breath into the ribs. Take one more breath here. That was good. Come right back into it. And then slowly back to center. Inhale, hips down, chest up. And then exhale, release both hands to the inside of your right foot. Walk your foot maybe closer to the right side of your mat. Drop down to your back knee. Untuck the back toes. Find your lizard's pose. And as you lower the body perhaps onto your forearms, you can decide if the toes are slightly angled out and the knees spilling open, or maybe you want to keep the toes facing forward, knee directly over that ankle. What does this side of your body need? How can I use my breath to get it? Find a place that you know you can stay, and then for the next few moments, it's only a few, don't fidget anymore. There is a kind of stillness and a quiet that is always ready to resound within the self. And it has nothing to do with where you are or what you are doing. It's the kind of quiet that emanates from your truest being. And if we don't practice visiting and allowing that part of ourselves to come out and be nurtured, then it becomes very difficult to use it off the mat in our everyday lives. So that's what this practice is. Getting to know the path to quiet so we can access it anytime we need. Wherever you are, exhale, please. Take a deep, deep, deep inhale. Audible exhale. Gently take your time to lift your back knee up off the floor, to stretch your right leg back, and go through a flow. High to low, sensation releasing, sensation gathering. Then when you find downward facing dog, close the eyes, check out the neck muscles. Notice if you've been leading through this practice using the head. Let it be soft, if only for these last few moments of class. On your inhale, left leg will inflate high. On your exhale, with control, shoulders over wrists, elbow or knee to the outside of the left elbow. Get them to touch. Inhale, draw the leg up. Exhale, knee to the outside of the right elbow. Get them to touch, if only for a moment. You know it's possible then. Inhale, draw the leg high. Exhale, shoulders over wrists, belly drawn in, forehead and knee connect, and you get your heel closer to your butt. Inhale, lift. Exhale, left foot comes in between your palms. Back heel stays lifted. Inhale, find your crescent lunge. Arrive on an exhale, perhaps you close the eyes and you enjoy the transition, perhaps the change that's occurred from the first time you were here to now. You settle into your body and you enjoy the strength that it offers. You find gratitude through the expression of your breath, be it a ha or a or find lightness, find space. Take a smooth inhale, get long through the torso and arms. Exhale, gently place your left hand to your hip. Roll the hips forward and chest high before stretching the right arm up and over to the left. Think right hip forward, left hip back. Back leg long and strong, and you're breathing and sending air all along right side body. Take one more breath here. On your exhale, tilt forward, bring the elbow to the outside of the left knee. Hands come to heart center. If you wish to begin rolling open the chest, think chest forward and open. And then right hand down, left arm high. Maybe you go for that bind. Or maybe you go for it and you fall out and you try again. Or you back off, or whatever it is. Yes, Claire, stay with it. That hand is like so close. I wish you could see what I see. It's right there. Oh my gosh. Roll it open for 3. Keep the back leg strong though. For 2, slow with control. That was great. That was awesome. Right back to center. Take a deep inhale, dip your hips low, find that space, that stretch. Exhale, release hands to the inside. Walk your foot more to the left. Drop down to your back knee, untuck the back toes. And I had to say something, Claire, because I saw you on the other side. I'm like, she's got it. It's like, it will happen. It will happen. If you're resting on your forearms, maybe you separate them a little wider. Perhaps on this side, you want to pivot your toes out. Or maybe it's rolling it completely open. So the sole of your foot is now facing you. One of my favorite teachers at YTGP, I know we're not supposed to have favorites, but I do. She likes to say, inhale, what am I made of? And exhale, what am I made of? Then it resonates so powerfully with me because every time I come to the mat, there's not a class that I don't find a challenging moment, that I can use that mantra to evoke an inner strength that helps me get to the next point, that helps me recognize and identify perhaps a new part of myself, or nourish a part that I've forgotten. Wherever you are, please empty the body of all that stale air. Any last drop that's left, push it out. Meet that with a deep and full, invigorating inhale. Fill it up. Audible exhale. Slowly, with control, begin to press yourself up. Pick up your back knee, lengthen your left leg behind you, and come through a flow. And it is the last flow of class, so I encourage you to let it be sweet. Yeah, get what you need from it. Amazing, Sophia. I need to learn to do that. And then when you're in downward facing dog, you can pedal out the legs again. You can shimmy the shoulders. Perhaps you really want to exaggerate the heart back towards those thighs, right? Find a way of acknowledging this downward facing dog as a familiar point that we don't just press to the wayside, but really enjoy getting to know this shape within our bodies every time we come to the mat. And then making it the best downward facing dog it can possibly be. Wherever you are, exhale completely, empty, empty, empty. Deep, full, exaggerated inhale. Let it go. Shift your shoulders over your wrists. Find that plank position, and then slower than perhaps you want to go initially, begin to lower all the way down towards the floor. Go slow. Go slow. Even slower. Nice. And then separate your feet so they might even touch the edges of your mat so they're wide. Bring your elbows underneath your shoulders, palms onto the mat, shoulder width. We're going to come into a set of Spinks Pose, and in this posture, we're just going to leave our legs and our buttocks, hips like really soft. Keeping your palms and elbows glued into the floor, chin comes level so the neck is long. And then with eyes closed, imagine that you are sliding your chest more forward in between your arms. Imagine that the shoulder blades are coming closer together, and you might even begin to gather some tension there. And it's not tension as though it were a burden, it's more of intention. Where can that tension be sent inwardly to create heat? And when we create heat, we create malleability and openness, and that's what we're going for. Keep the buttocks, hips soft. Keep stretching the low ribs forward in between the arms. It's only for 5. Shoulders down the back for 4. Feel that stabilized, controlled squeeze. 2. Slowly release. All the way down. Left ear to the mat. Arms back behind you, palms face up. Can you hear the heartbeat or the breath here? Echoing or vibrating from ear through the mat. And then chin comes forward. Bend your knees and grab just below the toes. We're going to come into a set of floor bow. So over the course of a practice, again, that's not one class, but over the course of several classes, you're going to work the knees closer together, maybe heels into the butt. Hold on to your feet for dear life. Take a deep inhale. Exhale, pull the belly in. Kick the heels up. Bring the chin up, floor bow. So keep kicking so you're stretching your hip bones or your hip flexors. Keep trying to squeeze the knees closer together. And I'll rock the weight forward so you're not swaying between your low ribs and your hips. You're planted firmly on the torso. Keep kicking up. Keep going up. You've got it for 3. Kick up for 2. Slowly release right ear to the floor, arms back behind you. Yeah, and if it helps to windshield viper the legs, go for it. Bend the knees, sway the feet from one side to the other. Nicole, I don't know who you're practicing with, but I think it's awesome. And then slowly, hands under the shoulders. You can do a push-up, or perhaps you simply peel yourself up off the floor. We're gonna come into one more back bend, tying everything together now instead of camel. So standing up on the knees, untuck the toes. So again, we're trying to stretch open the ankles, tops of the feet. Spread your fingers wide and place them on the low back. Your pinkies might even overlap. Now squeeze the elbows together, and just like in that Sphinx pose, can you feel a little bit of tension, intention between the shoulder blades? Keep that there. Take a smooth inhale, lift your chin up, stretch open your throat. Exhale, use your hands to glide the hips more forward, to stretch the torso open. Now squeeze the glutes. Keep lifting the heart up. Heart up, heart up, heart up. If you want, you can grab for the inner arches of the feet. If you practice quite frequently, you can bring your hands to the front of the quads and gently begin to pull your head back as you hold on to the thighs. Whatever you are doing, keep lifting your chest high. Keep the throat open. Relax the head. Let the head go. Let the belly go. Use the back muscles because it's almost over. Stay in it for 5. Stay in it for 4. Use your breath for 3, for 2. Slowly release the hips down. Bring the legs in a comfortable position. So whether it's cross-legged or perhaps it's a hero's pose with the knees together and the hips on the heels, find that stillness. In camel, when we open up the front side of the body, that soft body where so many energetic fields lie and activate, and our spine becomes very, very taut, it's not uncommon to feel a rush of something. Whatever it is, just notice. Enjoy this energetic ball, this storm that you've just created. It's all within you. It's all from you. Take one more breath here. And on an exhale, gently flutter the eyes open if they are shut. And glide the legs long out in front of you. That deep back bend will be met with a soft forward fold. So we don't need to be aggressive here. You can use your hands to pull apart the fleshiness underneath the body. You can bring your heels together and flex your toes back, or simply heels together and toes flopping open. Whichever you decide, inhale to glide the arms long, pull a little bit more length out of the spine before exhaling, hinging forward from the hips and grabbing the feet if you can, and if you want to, but you can. Bend your knees so you can. Bend your knees so that you have a hold of your feet, and then over the course of a practice, you'll work your hips more back. You'll draw your knees, your heels more forward. Surrender. Find and welcome gravity. Take a full breath. And then exhale, slowly roll up all the way. And gently roll all the way onto your back for a final Savasana. Finding Savasana however is best. So yeah, some of you have blankets or little eye pillows. Go ahead and allow yourself to find this final asana in a way that deepens your connection to yourself and your breath. A couple of announcements. For those of you who have just found us, thank you so much for coming. Yoga to the People has been and always will be donation-based. And what that allows is for you to come back as often and as frequently as you desire without having to consider any economic limitations. If you are in the position to donate today, thank you so much. Those donations do keep us open and offering the practice the way that we do. You can visit yogatothepeople.com, click the donate button, or donate to Venmo at Yoga to the People. And then we do have a teacher training coming up, and it's my favorite thing about working with and for this company. This practice hasn't just changed my life, it's given me the tools to go out and pursue the things that I love, the passions outside of yoga. And if you're looking for a pathway, tools to attain a higher self, or a way to step into this thing called power or awareness, consider yoga teacher training. We'll end with a quote and a collective breath. Our quote today is a really good one, especially if you find yourself living alone at this time. I love it. It's a great reminder. It says, "Everything is waiting for you. Your great mistake is to act the drama as if you were alone, as if life were a progressive and cunning crime with no witness to the tiny hidden transgressions. To feel abandoned is to deny the intimacy of your surroundings. Surely even you at times have felt the grand array, the swelling presence and the chorus crowding out your solo voice. You must note the way the soap dish enables you, or the window latch grants you freedom. Alertness is the hidden discipline of familiarity. Put down the weight of your aloneness and ease into the conversation. The kettle is singing even as it pours you a drink, and the cooking pots have left their arrogant aloofness and seen the good in you at last. All the birds and creatures of the world are unutterably themselves. Everything is waiting for you. If you would please hiss out all of the air and greet that with a full collective inhale, unifying us for the last time today. Exhale, HA. If you have the time, stay in Shavasana. If you're ready to get on with the rest of your day, roll over to one side. Find a way to say goodbye to this beautiful experience. And thank you all for coming.